Iggy. Can I just? I'm sorry. I'm on a tight schedule. I just wanted to stop by to say hello to everybody, and to, if I may, take just 2 minutes, and I'll be out of your way. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Welcome to the island, although you're not in the island already, but in our heart, you're already at the island. And let me just, in a few seconds, congratulate all the WRO team that's been working on making everything that you need to work, the timetables, the scenarios, the rules, everything. So they're putting their best effort. They're being amazing, letting us with the job only to provide you with the best place to stay, and the best conditions we can. Hopefully, we hope to be up to the challenge. And we've been interacting as a team. So all of us, ANSD, the volunteer firefighters from Praia da Vitória, the WRO, we are all very excited to have you there. Everything is ready. I've been there. I've seen all the tents being put up. All the cars are there. Don't worry, all the cars are there. And I think it will be a wonderful experience for all of you. And I have to thank you, Iggy, for all of your effort leading the team, Ian, and everybody who's been on that side. So internet really helps us to get things done, and we're almost there. We're almost there. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you because I'm in the middle of traveling. I just stopped the car to say hello. Thank you very much. And if you need anything, just WhatsApp or email. And it's nice to put some faces to the names that we're in exchanging emails. So hope to see you in the island. Have a few beers or water if you want, and talk a little bit. Bye bye, my friend. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Louis. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, guys, we're at 137. I got do I have the three leads here? The four leads, I'm sorry. We have Carlos, you on here now?
Hello, yes.
Hey, Carlos, we have Julius Fleischman, Carlos Amaro, Julius Fleischman.
Yes.
Yes, thanks,
Okay.
Iggy.
Okay, and Mark Brennan.
Mark is still in the other meeting with the trauma.
He's he's traumatized by the trauma team. I like it.
Yeah, trauma's just finishing up there now, Iggy. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Pete. So guys, welcome. First of all, let me mention that we are recording this meeting so that teams that cannot make the webinar can get the information. We'll be sending it out through our WhatsApp chat here. So the teams that either need to translate some of the things that we are saying or need to watch it over, or teams, like I said, that can't be here, they'll have the availability to be able to rewatch it. So I appreciate your guys' patience with all of this and understanding. So let's start off right now, guys. My name is Carlos Eguiluz. Everybody calls me Iggy. I am the extrication lead, one of the extrication leads for the World Rescue Organization. Our other leads are Carlos Amaro from ANSD Portugal, who will also be functioning as the the host. I'm sorry, not the host. He is the head assessor. So I am a head assessor, and he is a head assessor as well for the host organization, ANSD. We have Julius Fleischman, who is another one of our extrication leads, who will also be judging technical. We have Mark Brennan from Rescue Organization Ireland, who is our medical extrication lead, and he will be handling a lot of both trauma along with Eves and medical and extrication with us. So we're going to have a lot of consistency there. And of course, and Julius Fleischman, as I mentioned, is from South Africa, Samro. And we have Paul Hamer, who is not going to be on this call, but he is the other extrication lead from UKRO. And we're very excited for this event, guys. We've put a lot of work into this, as you guys all have, and for all the dedication and commitment that you guys have made, we've made the same, because we want to put forth the best possible event for you guys. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start our presentation. Carlos and Mark and Julius, I ask that if you guys please would like to jump in and make comments, please do. Mark, welcome. Glad to see your trauma meeting went well. Thank you so much. Again, as always, Carlos, Mark, and Julius, for always, making sure everything on the extrication side has been handled, and we're always on top of things. So thank you for that. So go ahead, Carlos, if you want to start this. All right, so Azores, it's 10 days away, guys. 10 days away. Everybody's very excited. Beautiful, beautiful country. Our host is, of course, ANSD, and you guys just met Louis Figueiredo, who is the chair for the host committee, and has been doing a great job, as all of our host organization, ANSD, working together with WRO and all the volunteers from WRO. And again, guys, remember, this is volunteers. All of us are volunteering for this. We're putting in a lot of work, because we want to present you with the best opportunity for learning and challenging each other at this event. So we're going to look at the site right now. Do we have a site? Thank you, Mark Brennan, by the way, for letting us work with your presentation. It fit very nicely with our extrication side. I really appreciate it, Mark. Thank you. All right, guys, so here it is. 4 days. It's going to be an amazing event. A lot of planning went into this, guys. Great deal of planning. So this is what we're going to discuss today. We know the 5 extrication leads understand that you all have many questions. And what we ask is, if there's any questions regarding the slide presentation and what we're speaking about today, we'll have some time at the end of the presentation. But if anything to do with actual challenge questions, what we ask is that you forward them to me. I will forward to the 4 extrication leads so that we can discuss it and provide all the teams. So let's just use a team. A team from Ireland sends questions. The 4 leads will look at the question, get a good answer, as long as it's not going to give anything away of what we're going to do at the event. We can't give away too much information. And then we will provide you the answer on the WhatsApp chat. The purpose for this is to try to cut down on the length of the captain's meeting, also to help you guys prepare better for your travels. And possibly, if you have another week of training, that you can maybe start thinking of applying some of this stuff. So let's do a quick introduction. I'd like to go through all the different groups, guys. And again, as Louis says, it's nice putting a face to the name, and we want you guys to start feeling comfortable with our host, ANSD, as well as our WRO staff. All right, so this is combined 70 teams, 35 countries, guys. I think we're at 35 teams for the extrication side. Mark, what are we at for trauma?
36.
Woof, nice. And I think we're right at 35 for extrication. So guys, we got a full plate. It's going to be exciting. A lot of work on your end as well as our end. And we're hoping that when this thing is done, you guys are going to think it's the greatest event you've been to. Some of the teams, sorry if we did not get your picture on here, guys. As you know, we are trying, based on pictures that we get from the Azores 2024 website, trying to put them on the WRO website as well as our social media pages. we've already started posting team pictures, both on the websites and social media. It's our hope that by next Monday or Tuesday at the latest, all of our assessors, all of the teams, well, I should say the assessors, shadow assessors, and staff that's working the event, you'll be able to see their biographies with pictures on all of our social media. Hey, Carlos, can you go back one, please? Okay, there you go. If you didn't show up, guys, send us your picture and we'll include it, okay? We're trying to build up our, get you guys to know each other before you even step foot on the island. If you guys can start getting to know each other and maybe interacting with each other and networking with each other, which is the whole point of that WhatsApp page that we started. The idea is to post every question we get, we will answer to the group. So we'll post a question and answer it. Again, if it gives away too much about what we're doing at the event, we'll just inform you we can't answer that one, okay? So here you have it, guys. We're just going down the line. These are the 5 extrication leads. You have Julius Fleischman from SAMRO, Mark Brennan from ROI, Carlos Amaro from ANSD, and Paul Hamer from UKRO, and I'm there from the United States through NAVRA and Turk. And guys, when you hear about our leads, in our opinion, we're all equals. The 5 of us are equal. We get ideas from each other. We hash things out and we come with a consensus. And this is a big thing that also I'm going to mention here in a minute of our assessors. As far as our assessors, we have Ico Gabriel from ABRES, Ray Martin from Rescue Organization Ireland, Roger Linas from APRAT, Christian Calderaru from Romania, SMERD, Julius Fleischman, and again from SAMRO, Laurent Dupont from France. We have Manuel Pons, Manu from APRAT, and Dr. Adrian Zachariah from SMERD. It's also Dr. Manuel Pons and Dr. Jake Turner. So you guys will see Dr. Jake Turner, I'm sorry, from UKRO. When you guys see the bios for the assessors we have, it's very, very impressive. Believe me, I've been doing this since 1991 and have been blessed to work with great organizations here in the United States and through the WRO dating back to 2002. I was actually at the very first ever WRO event, which was in Scotland in 2000, and competed as a medic. And the following year, I had been the coordinator for the team that went to South Africa the following year. So these are our assessors. As you can see, we have, guys, here's what I want you to understand. You're seeing a lot of different names here. And in the first 2 slides, Carlos, can you go to the next one for Q? Do we have QA on here as well? Okay, this is our quality assurance group. This is Oscar Campillo from Alarev, Christian Calderaru from SMERD, and Andres Aspas from APRAT. When those 3 slides you just saw represent a total of 13 different countries. This is what the WRO was always meant to be about, and I'm very happy to see that this is what they're doing. They're asking us to be involved. And you can see between the big 5, we're all 5 different countries. When you add QA to those, it's 3 more different countries. We're at 8 different countries in those 2 groups together. A lot of times you think, well, how do they come to this way of doing things? How do we come to these theories? How do we come to these agreements and procedures? It's because the WRO listens to all the countries and we say, well, in our part of the world, we do it this way. And then we get together and we say, well, what's a middle ground? And that's what I am so proud and so appreciative and thankful that not only those 9 assessors, but our big 4 leads, as well as our QA, have worked together for months, 7 months straight of getting on the same page so we can provide you guys with consistency. So I'd like to, these guys they're very humble. I have to ask them 20 times to send me a biography. They're very humble, but they're the most knowledgeable professional people the WRO could ask for. So I'm blessed to have been working with them, and I'm excited for all of us to work together to give you guys the kind of event that you deserve. And if you guys, as you guys get to know me over the next couple of weeks, you'll know that Iggy is stuck in 1984. No technology for me. So my brothers Carlos and Mark and Julius have to always save me because when it comes to technology, I'm lost. All right, so here are some of our logistics. These are our scenario creation team, guys. These are the best of the best. Again, Carlos is getting up. I'll give it a shot. I'll try to pronounce these. Carlos, would you like to pronounce or announce our logistics team, please?
The responsible from WRO is Rui Santos, the logistic manager. We have from INSD Rodrigo Vilarinho, António Dionísio from INSD also, Dea Prat, España, Benino Gomes Saez is from France, from the Fédération Nationale de Sapeurs-Pompiers, David Lazo. They will be always, all of them will be in Azores, building all the wonderful scenarios that the teams will have the opportunity to work on.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos. And I've seen the scenarios, and let me tell you, man, they're great scenarios. You guys are going to be really challenged here. All right. Next, we have and this is very important right here, guys, our internal assessor coordinators for WRC 2024 on the trauma side. You have Maria Asunsao. Did I say that right, Carlos? Asunsao?
In your best English, it was perfect.
Okay. Hey, remember, I'm Cuban and American. So Marina Jardim is going to be the internal assessor coordinator on the extrication side. Okay, very important, guys. They will be not only training our patients, which they have already started. They've attended, these two individuals have attended all of our medical meetings and assessors meetings. We've had, I'll get into that. We've had hours and hours of preparation for this, and these two individuals have really dedicated themselves and attended the meetings with us. Carlos, I will give you this one as well, please.
Okay, just to introduce INSD hosts. These are the four founders of INSD back in 2012. I was the fortunate one to be invited to be part of the group. With Luis Caracol. He's the senior guy. He's one of the more experienced extrication trainers, and everything about extrication in Portugal is one of the best. And Rui Santos is an expert, not only assembling scenarios, but in extrication. He is also one of the best. And João Carlino is no longer in ANSD at this time, but he was our president for a few years, and he is also an expert in not only extrication but also in extrication. And Carlos Amaro is a student of this art. I'm trying to learn from you, and that's it.
Thank you, Carlos. And humility is your middle name, Carlos. You're really such a huge part of our team, and I'm so thankful that when we took these positions that they included you and Mark and myself all together with Julius and Paul. You guys are, as I've always said, you guys are the tip of the spear, the very best we can ask for. All right. Again, Carlos, because I don't want to mispronounce names, if you could just go through these names as well. These are very important people. This is our guys. This is, without these people, we're not competing with each other. We're not challenging. We're not learning. So these hosts are very important people. If you see them, just say thank you to them. They put in so much work, not just in the last 7 months. That's us. They've been putting in years of preparation for this. So go ahead, Carlos.
Okay, these faces, Luis Figueiredo, you may recognize. He is around. He started the meeting. He's our president at now. Alexandre Cunha is our vice president, and he lives in the island. He is there working with his crew, preparing everything for us. João Nunes, Manuel Ribeiro, Bruno Pinto, Nuno Guilherme, Sara Lopes, Paulo Fé. Some of these faces, even in Portugal, a lot of people don't know them, but they are behind the scenes working a lot to make this possible. Okay, they don't usually are in front of the cameras, but they are working in the backstage a lot. Okay, so they are a huge part of a great team, and they all do a lot for us. Here, the same. Ana Ferreira, a doctor. Ana Perpetua, a doctor. Anaua Camará, internal assessor, one of the best I have ever seen. António Dionísio, I introduced it before. Miguel Monteiro, doctor. Rodrigo Vilarinho, logistics. Rui Oliveira, an assessor and an expert in extrication also, a very good one. António Silva, logistics. Marco Antônio, firefighter, logistics. Maria Assunção, I introduce you. Marina Jardim, Marlene Pereira, an assessor. She will be shadowing for us. Wilson Gomes, an assessor and a previous competitor in extrication. He represented Portugal in several World Rescue Challenge in the past. Carlos Lourenço is doing a lot of moulage for us. Fernando Leite, medical assessor, and is working a lot in the island. Tiago Souza, he is part of the media crew. Rafael Neves, former competitor, a huge expert in extrication, not only command, but technical and medical also. Rafael Prazeres, media. Hugo Ferrer, an excellent medical assessor, also a former competitor in trauma and extrication. Jean-Claude Silva, logistics, always working. This guy never gets tired. Jorge Silva, a new member of INST crew, starting as an assessor. José Moutinho, a huge assessor in Portugal, in command and technical, one of the first in Portugal. Júlio Braga, medical assessor, firefighter, also competitor in trauma. And Lugero Soares, he was our first head assessor in Portugal and also technical assessor. So this is only part of the team that are expecting you in Azores.
Thank you, Carlos. Really appreciate that. Carlos, by chance, is our tool boss, our person in charge of the tool pit, are they listed on here? And if
Yes.
so, can you identify them?
Yeah. Well, a lot of these people do a lot of stuff. Desliga o microfone, Blues. Obrigado. A lot of these people do a lot of things. You want to know who will be in charge of the tools?
Yes, so that our teams, when they go, they know that who they'll be speaking to.
Luis Caracol.
Okay, Luis is the tool pit boss. So you guys know when you go in to check tools, this is most likely who you're going to see.
He is responsible of all the tools, but in each pit there will be one person in charge of it. Okay.
Okay. Maybe by captain's meeting we can identify those people so the teams will get to know them at the captains. Thanks, Carlos.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
no
buddy.
problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's on you from here now.
Okay, so I want you guys to look at this picture for a second, these pictures, and we'll come back to them at the end. But at the end of this little presentation, I want to talk to you guys about why we do this and what's important about what we do, okay? So let's move on. Okay, so this is our program, guys. You guys have access to all of this. And I know that not just the WRO and WRC 2024 websites have posted all of our documents that have been updated. The schedule of events is here. I'll just go through it really quick, guys. This is on Monday, November 4th for the assessors and shadow assessors. We will be meeting between 0900 and 1300. We then have at 1500 to 1800, second international seminar on trauma and extrication. Okay, we must register for this. Those are the events planned for Monday, the 4th. Tuesday, November 5th, we have a welcome section set up for registration and welcome packets from 0900 to 1300. And from 1500 to 1700, we will have our captain's meeting. Okay, that's a 2-hour window. If we can answer a lot of these questions for us, it won't run over the time, and we might be able to not have to repeat things as many times. So those questions that you guys may have will come in handy to try to shorten the captain's meeting if possible. And then, of course, we have our opening ceremony from 2100 to 2300, and that is Class A uniform, guys. So these are some of the socials, right, and events that are going on Wednesday, November 6th, in El Parque. Well, I'm not going to give it a shot because I'll butcher it. We've got from 0900 to 1900, we have, of course, our trauma and RTC challenge. Meanwhile, from 20 to 22, we will have a music session, okay, and a concert followed from 22 to 2400. Brothers of Soul. November 7th, again, consistent, 0900 to 1900, Trauma RTC Challenge. From 2000 to 2200, music session, and same thing, a concert from 2200 to 2400. Tickets are required for that one. Then we go to Friday, November 8th. This will be the third day of the actual challenge from 0900 to 1900. The Trauma and RTC challenge will be going on with a music session at night. You can see there. And again, you can look all this up on the website. From 22 to 2400, another concert. So lots of things going on. So let's move into Saturday, November 9th. We have the challenge, final day of the challenge. As you can see, we are shooting to finish the day and finish the challenge by 4 o'clock, 1600, for both trauma and RTC. And then that evening from 2000 to 2400 is a closing ceremony. Again, you see tickets are required. So please, guys, make sure you guys get on there so that they can plan accordingly for how many people we're going to have in both trauma and RTC. Make sure you guys let them know and get your tickets ahead of time. So as you can see, we have a lot of events going on. I'll draw your attention really quick to that 0800 to 1900. We're doing everything we can, guys, as we always do, to try to keep on time. For one thing that would be very helpful for us is if the teams show up to your report time at the time that you're allocated, at the time you're supposed to report. If you show up late, guys, it's messing up the schedule. We don't want to have a team forfeit to drop out of one of their scenarios because they didn't show up on time. So although the first day, for example, and let's just speak reality, if you guys have been doing this long enough, you already understand the first day is usually got its little hiccups and little bumps, and usually by the middle of the day, end of day one, we've got it under control and we've got a nice vibe, a nice flow going. So days 2, 3, and 4 should go a lot more smooth. So please be on time to when your report time is. Same for the events. Make sure you get there on time, please. Carlos, can I hand this to you, either Mark or you, regarding the site plan?
Yeah, I'll happily take the site plan. Guys, what we would just encourage everybody to do during your registration, during the team registrations, which takes place between 0900 and 1300 hours on Tuesday, the 5th of November. Please go into the site. You will register at the end of the area where the sponsors, education and demonstration area is, and you will register your teams. Please make sure that you have all the accreditations, tickets, and everything else that you need for your teams. Okay, it's important that you understand the site layout. The site layout, when we go past the registrations area, you're into the area where the competitions take place. One thing we would encourage every team member to do during the course of the event is support our sponsors. Okay, please visit the sponsors. Please talk to them, make them feel happy, make them feel engaged. We need the sponsors to come back every year. They help build the event, and they are there to help you with whatever equipment needs that you need. When we move past the registration area on the days of the events, there are 3 extrication pits. The first thing you will do when you arrive is you will register your team, and then you'll be brought into the isolation area. You will then move from the isolation area, where you will have your chance to check your medical equipment, then move into the extrication pits. You will undertake your scenario in the extrication pits, and when you have finished your when you finished each of your scenarios, you will then move on to debriefing. Okay, so please be familiar with the layout. Please be familiar with the site. So if we don't want to have to go looking for people, if you don't present yourselves at the appropriate time, I'm afraid it is your responsibility to do so.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Touching on something that Mark spoke of, guys, sponsors. Listen, guys, all of us on here, we've been right where you guys are. Those of you who are competing, whether it's trauma or extrication or both, we know how intense that feeling to compete is. We also have to acknowledge that it takes a group of people and groups of individuals to make this happen. And one of them, we need you guys, the teams. Without you, what's the point? We're doing it for you so you guys can learn from each other and move forward as rescuers. We need assessors to come and from a criteria or guideline to assess you guys as consistently as we can based on that criteria. We need a host, ANSD, to say, we'll take on this challenge. We'll take on this headache to produce this so you guys, you rescuers, can come out and display your skills and your knowledge and not just compete, learn from each other. And one of those groups that we could never do this without is our sponsors. They're the ones that give us the tools. They're the ones that make donations so that we can do certain things, because this costs money to put together, guys. So thank you, Mark. That's a great point. If you guys see your sponsors, please thank them for being there. Thank you. Okay, so this is our PPE checklist. This will be posted around. Anytime you're in the work area in the hot zone, we expect you to have helmet, all these things prepared. Again, it's in our guidelines. It tells you what is mandatory and what is not. And be familiar with, make sure that you guys are familiar with your rules, your guidelines, your score sheets, your guidelines or criteria for scoring. Make sure you guys are familiar with your tool list, and make sure you guys are familiar with the types of scenarios. All of that has been presented to you. And I know that Carlos posted all of those items on this WhatsApp chat group that we're on. So if you need to scroll through and find all of this information is on there. Julius, Carlos, Mark, any comments here? We're good? Or you have anything?
No, I think it's good. I think the most important thing, Iggy, is go to the reference, the guidelines. That is the rules and regulations. Stick to that. If there's any questions urgent, as you said on the end, you will give the presentation for any questions towards certain things that we need to manage. That would be great. Fantastic. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Jules. Guys,
Iggy,
yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to mention the visors, the size of the visors?
Yes. So, guys, again, once an MOU is made and once a guideline is written, we can't change what is already in writing. And for this year, the thought process is we will let teams wear the helmet and type of face shield or not that their department has approved for them to wear. What we ask is if you don't have a full face shield, that you use some type of a teardrop, a plastic hardboard protection to protect the rescuer that maybe is making a cut or working with glass or whatever the case may be, to provide some hardboard protection in front of them between the two of themselves if you're not wearing a full face shield. You will not, let me be very clear. If you wear what your department approved you to wear and you are following our guidelines, you will not be graded higher for having a face shield. It's how you use what you have. You guys understand this? So if your department is providing you a helmet with a shield and you have it up when you're working, not only will you're obviously under patient safety, you will be, that's going to affect your score. We will ask you to please put your face shield down because again, you've come to this event with the understanding that your department has approved you to wear it, so you must wear it properly. Respiratory protection, absolutely, with laminated glass especially, and those type of things. As far as the hearing protection, our number one concern, guys, this is very realistic. And when you guys see the scenarios that the WRO has set up for you guys with the types of scenarios that they've set up with the guidelines that we have now and the score sheets that we have now, it's going to be very challenging. Okay. What we ask you guys to do is understand that ultimately it is still a training event. Nobody's life is on the line, and we have to listen to, we have to follow liability issues. When we talk to vendors and they say, nope, this tool can't be used that way, we have to take that onto consideration and yet make the scenario as realistic as we can, understanding that there's certain things that we have to do to err on the side of safety. It may not be what you do in your part of the world, but it's providing further safety for our patients or for our live interior assessors. Anything else, Carlos, Jules, or Mark on that?
Yes, just a small detail, but an important one. If by any chance your fire department or your country regulation doesn't recommend full visors, the visors that protect the whole face, not only your eyes, okay? If by any chance you can't bring full visor for the competition, we need to apply different measures to make sure everyone is safe. Okay, so what are that measures? When you are doing any type of work that any projection can happen, especially with hydraulic tools, when you usually protect the inside of the vehicles for the medic or for the casualties, if you are not protected because you only have a small visor, you must use outside a hard protection like a teardrop or something like that. So you need to use one inside and another outside to protect you. Okay, I know this is controversial, but any questions, send it by email or WhatsApp group.
Okay, thanks, Carlos. All right, let's talk about safety for a second. Safety where the command for real or where a 3-second whistle is blown. All members of the team, everyone, we assume when we hear that for real or for the whistle, where we blow a whistle for 3 seconds, this applies to the entire team. You may not think it affects you, but it may. So we stop. All members of the team will immediately stop their action. This command indicates that a safety problem exists. If the patient calls out for real, it could be that something has got in their eye, something has dug, maybe a tool is digging into them and they have to call, for real. We stop. Okay, make sure we correct that issue, and then we start time again and you can move forward. This command indicates that a safety problem exists. Time will be stopped until the safety issue is rectified, corrected. Once addressed, the command assessor will give the instruction for the team to continue and the clock will recommence. If there are any other safety stoppages during the same evolution, so if you have one safety stop, and now you have a second one in the same scenario, the time will not stop and the team will have to rectify the situation while the clock continues to run. The above safety calls can be made by assessors or by any of the assessors or safety officer. If the problem can't be rectified, the WRC extrication lead may disqualify the team or cancel the evolution. So what is this about? Safety, guys. Safety. Remember, we do a hazardous job, but we are still, the challenge is still considered a training event. I think you all will agree, we would try certain things in the real world on the street, hopefully that we've practiced, that we won't do if it's just a drill. You know what I mean? Because of the hazards involved. We'll try to control that as much as possible. You just please, if a freeze is called, stop. Everyone stops. That could be something affecting one of our interior assessors or some type of imminent danger to one or more of the crew members. Okay, the team consists of 6 members. The challenge, I should say, consists of 6 team members, 3 scenarios during 4 days. You will have 1 day off during the 4 days of competing. Every team will do each category of scenario once, okay? Each scenario will last a maximum of 25 minutes. That's the max it will last. We will stop it at 25. The extrication challenge, a team will be assessed in the following areas: incident command, technical rescue, treatment of casualty. We're looking for your critical thinking skills, your use and knowledge of tools, your command and control as an officer, and your fantastic BLS care of the patient in medical. That's what we're looking for. Okay, some of the documents that hopefully you have all seen by now. We have corrected a few little things, but they're now finalized. We have our extrication guidelines. Those are the rules for the challenge. So maybe before you guys send a lot of these questions, you can read the guidelines, the rules for the challenge, and it might answer your question. If it does not, please feel free to send it forward to us. Another thing you're going to notice on there that's been there for many, many weeks now has been the finalized equipment list, the score sheets and guidelines, and the scenario types, which you all have access to. A sample of what our sheets look like, okay? Here's, which one is this? That's okay, medical, technical, command. These are our score sheets. If you guys will notice, those of you that were there last year, one of the things that we worked on improving was making it a little bit more streamlined for our teams to understand our guidelines and our score sheets, as well as our assessors to understand and follow through with our score sheets and guidelines. So our 4 leads worked on it very hard, and they came up with what we feel, and so far what we've received response on is that we've done a very favorable job in providing you guys with the guidelines and score sheets to move forward with these new types of scenarios that we're going to be presenting you guys. All right, registration and isolation. You are required to register, okay? And that doesn't mean when you first register for the event. It means each day you have to, it's like a sign-in table. You have to be there at the time you're given. Even if we're running behind, if you were scheduled to be there at 10 and we're running an hour behind and it's 11, you still need to be there at 10, guys, okay? Please. You are required to register. You have 10 minutes for tools check. So you will sign in as soon as the pit that you will be using is clear, that they're not setting up any scenario and the team that was there before is gone now. You guys will be allowed to go into your pit, set up your tool pits. We're going to give you 10 minutes, okay? Nobody will get less than 10 minutes. Everybody will get 10 minutes. We are going to try to keep that consistent from one team to the next. Bear with us, please. Again, there's a lot of things, moving parts, a lot of logistics involved. We have a question. Should we hold off questions to the end, guys?
No questions, Iggy, please.
All right. No questions right now,
You-
guys. Hold on to that.
You'll send me later.
Renzo, if you can hold on to that to the end, we'd appreciate it, man.
I'm sorry, Iggy, I will take the chance to say, if you have questions now, please put it in the message. I will read it. Julius will read it. Mark will read it. And if we can answer today, we will, or we will answer in the WhatsApp group. Okay, you can put it in the message. We'll take care of that, but not on your own voice. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Carlos, and thanks, Renzo. So then you go into isolation until you are called out. We will provide you with hydration in isolation. There is not to be any, here it is. You will submit all phones, tablets, computers, smartwatches, or similar devices while in isolation, meaning, guys, it's perception. You guys understand? A lot of times you see something and it looks wrong. It may not be wrong, but it's what they see is wrong. So let's eliminate bad perception. Don't bring any devices with you into isolation, please. Okay? These are returned after the scenario. Please don't forget them. All right. The three different types of scenarios. I will read over them briefly, but by now you guys have seen them. They've been out for a while. And we need you guys to understand something. This is the 25th anniversary of the WRO. And as I said before, I can only rely on my experience. Doesn't come from like our four leads that are still out there doing it. I've been retired from the fire service for 6 years now. I continue working with teams that compete at a competitive compete in challenges such as the WRO, national challenges for NAVRA and for Transportation Emergency Rescue Committee. I can tell you this, in 25 years, when the first scenarios we had back in 1991, when I first joined, was 4 years after these international competitions first started, it was a mannequin, it was C-spine, and that was it. Zero medical, zero BLS care of the patient, very predictable types of scenarios, because the studies show at the time that the biggest concern, because there was the restraint systems that we have in vehicles weren't what they are now, because there was no crumble zones, because there was no curtain airbags, there was no airbags, period. Because of all these things, we saw more whiplash type accidents, which caused spinal issues. As manufacturers corrected that, studies have shown now that, anywhere from less than 1% to 3% of vehicular accidents result in spinal compromise situations. So we've developed some scenarios that's really going to test all three phases: command, medical, and technical. This is not just going to be a challenge on medical, okay? And we know that you guys will be up to the task, okay? So scenario number one critically injured patient requiring urgent extrication, estimated 10 to 12 minutes. This scenario demands quick decision-making and efficient use of rescue tools to stabilize and transport the patient as rapidly as possible. If I'm reading too fast, guys, I'm sorry for anybody who's translating. It's here in writing. I'm just reading what's here. Your standard extrication scenario, this is under scenario type 1. is your one stable patient with a less urgent condition, but potentially complicated extrication process, estimated 15 to 20 minutes. This requires careful maneuvering and possibly more complex techniques to safely extricate the casualty without making the injuries worse. Scenario type 2, it's known as triage. We have a dual stable extrication, 2 patients, both stable, requiring simultaneous management within a 25-minute window. This scenario tests the team's ability to prioritize tasks and efficiently manage multiple patients under time constraints. The second of those types of scenarios will be a dual critical extrication, where 2 critically injured patients need urgent care. The estimated extrication time here is 16 to 18 minutes. Teams must employ advanced techniques and coordination to expedite extrication and provide immediately medical care. And there's 2 beautiful mooses. And then in the last one of scenario type 2, we have mixed condition extrication scenario. We have 1 stable and 1 critical patient, both needing extrication in 25 minutes. The scenario challenges the team to balance rapid with for the critical patient while also attending to the stable patient. Okay. Again, all of these are on the website, guys, so you should be able to access them. Finally, in scenario 3, which is known as physical entrapment, you have 1 single patient with an obstacle scenario. 1 patient trapped inside a car, another capable of self-extrication. They can literally walk out of the car with an expected completion time of 20 minutes. This focuses on the team's ability to assist a trapped patient while ensuring the self-extrication patient is evaluated properly and assisted as needed. The second option for scenario 3 might be the critical inside, stable outside. This is where we have 1 critical injured patient inside the vehicle and another trapped outside with an expected extrication time of 15 minutes. It requires rapid intervention for critical patients while managing external obstacle for stable patients. And finally, our balanced inside and outside scenario. 1 stable patient inside and another trapped outside of the car. It's an expected extrication time of 22 minutes. This tests the team's ability to effectively manage spatial challenges and patient conditions. Estimated time, note this, the times provided are general indicators. Each scenario is evaluated individually and patient extrication times are assigned based on particulars, okay? So we look at a scenario and based on what we have, we would say, well, wait a minute, this has more of this than what the scenario book says, so we tweak our times to adjust for any extra work or not that you might be doing. Okay, as far as translations, and this was, as I'm sure has always been an issue. Remember, different countries, we just talked about earlier, we have something like 14 different countries alone between our assessors, our big 4 and QA. Imagine for the teams, we have a variety of languages. So translations, the official language of the World Rescue Challenge is in English. The team is responsible for provision of language interpretation. Please ensure that any interpretation is accurate and reflects the performance of the team. So don't add, don't subtract. Any interpreter will be asked any relevant question by the assessor. The translator will not be permitted to coach or assist the team in any way. So again, fair play, guys. The interpreter shall stay in the pit after tool checking. So the interpreter does not go with the team. They stay in the pit after tool checking, and the assessors will decide that person's positioning in the scenario. It depends on the language spoken. Okay, so we're going to do our debrief. So the scenario ends. Remember, we talked about staying on time. It's very important. We know you guys want to stay on time. You have plans perhaps to go eat, or you have plans to maybe sightsee, or you have plans to see other teams there. We're doing our best to stay on time. So here's how we're going to try to accomplish that on our side of it. We're going to have a debrief, which is and 10 minutes after the end of your scenario. So the scenario will end. Pick up your equipment. If you want to take a picture as a team, do your own picture. The assessors will walk away after making sure everybody is okay. The assessors will go away and start the scoring process. 10 minutes after the end of the scenario, thereabouts, we will have our debrief. The debrief will only last 15 minutes. It's very important because we have 3 different disciplines trying to share thoughts with you, talking about positive points and talking about learning points based on what you did, not what the assessor would have done. I need you guys to understand that too. The assessors, we're all on the same page. We've done 20 hours individual for each assessor of training, and we've come up with, we are going to grade you on what you do based on the criteria you've been provided, not what we would have done. So you have a 15-minute debrief. When we say it's over, it has to be over, guys, because the assessors have to rush to go to the restroom, hydrate, see the next scenario and particulars about the information on the scenario, so we're well informed before the scenario starts. So please work with us. When the debrief is over, If you want to talk to an assessor away from there about something, that's fine, but please also respect the assessor's time throughout the week. Assessor's decision is final, and please respect assessors. Guys, I'm going to sit here for a second. The assessors have put in so much work into this. Each assessor has right now close to 20 hours. Our 4 leads have 60 hours of Zoom meeting time. That's just Zoom meeting, going over guidelines, criteria, tool list. How are we going to do this? And we still have another 4 hours to go over things at the event to kind of clean up everything. That cleanup will be the questions that you guys provide over the next 10 days. Okay. I need you. And again, guys, the 4 assessors have heard this before because the 4 leads, I should say, and most of all of our assessors, most of them have all been on the competition circuit at some point or another. I'm talking to you now as a former competitor. Okay. Not as a judge and not as a coordinator of any type of an event, as a former competitor. You're doing your best. You got to give 100%. And then when it's said and done, you live with what the results are. Our assessors are trying their best to be consistent with each other and to our criteria. Please, please respect our assessors. Okay. If we don't have time to talk about something in that moment, like as I said, you catch us later. But our assessors are holding themselves to a standard, and we expect, I should say, the 5 leads expect you guys to hold yourselves to the same standard. We all respect. I'll speak personally. I am told many times by the assessors, I think too much like a team member, and the team members say, I think too much like an assessor. It's because there are 2 sides to this. And I need you guys to understand, we are doing our best to see everything you're doing, to hear everything you're saying, and then to score you appropriately based on our notes from the guidelines that you were given. Okay. So please respect our assessors. They've earned that. They've put in the hours I told you is just the amount of hours they spent on Zoom meetings. Think of all the other hours that they've written notes, or they had to read the criteria over and over to get familiar with it. You guys as competitors only have to memorize that far right, that very thorough category, right? That the best category to the right. Our assessors don't memorize, but have to be familiar with all of it in between, all the way from 1 to 10 or 1 to 15, whatever that score is and how many columns, to justify their scoring for you. So again, they've put in a lot of work. Let's respect these assessors. They've earned it. And when you guys start reading their bios, you're going to be convinced. We really are very fortunate to have the assessors we have working with us this year. So some usual questions. We're just going to touch on these really quick. Is it possible to check tools in the pit? Yes. Carlos, can you explain the Eurobox and that whole situation, please?
Okay, the Eurobox is, well, usually, I don't mean you guys, but sometimes some competitors try to take a fire engine in their pocket, and it's not fair for the other competitors that don't have such a big pocket. Okay, so let's keep it simple. Don't bring a fire engine in your pocket, not in your trousers, anywhere. All the tools that fit in Eurobox, okay, the size is on the tool list. You can see it. It's like 600 millimeters for 400 millimeters and 320 millimeters. Okay, it's there. What fits inside, you can take to the pit. What doesn't fit inside, you can leave it in your hotel. Okay, it's the same for everybody. Choose your tools, be smart, and have fun. Okay.
Thank you, Carlos. All right. Next question, guys, or common question is, will there be a picture of our tools, right? Carlos, this means their tool staging, how they staged it. Is this what we're talking about?
Yes, as soon as we arrive to the island and we have all the tools in the pits, we will take pictures, and we can share the pictures in the WhatsApp group. It will be easier for them before the captain's meeting to know where everything is, and it will save us time on the captain's meeting, and it's better for them also.
Okay, thank you. And that when it says there will be a picture on display in
Yes.
isolation, that's
Yes,
of the
and
general.
also, yes, and also in the isolation, will be pictures on the walls for them to take a look when they are stressed waiting for the scenario.
All right, thanks, Carlos. All right, guys, and again, Jules and Mark, please jump in as you guys feel. Hazard identification, especially with the issue with when you see an electrical power line down, guys. What we're asking you to do as the incident commander is you identify it. Do what you do in your part of the world, in your country. If in your part of the world you put on gloves and you make that, you cut that wire, just say that. If you call for the grid to be shut down here in the United States, we make a call, and within 2 minutes, that whole area is shut down of power. It's a 2-minute delay, but it's better than going into an electrically charged situation. We won't make you wait the 2 minutes. We're there to see you work. Command and control, technical use of knowledge, and incredibly good BLS medical care. If you tell us how you handle electrical emergencies, sufficient. We will confirm that you've said it and say, okay, it's been taken care of. It's been mitigated. Whatever the terminology is, it will mean it's taken care of. Continue. Who can call when the entrapment? So we have an entrapment of whatever part of the body. As you guys can understand, we need to make sure that you guys are providing enough space for that entrapment to be free. If it's a situation where it's more of an entanglement where you can bring an arm out, the interior assessors will let you know with how they react. But if they react a certain way, screaming, ow, that's an entrapment. If you're trying to pull the limb from whatever entrapment it's in, it needs to be freed. What we are going to do is let the technical assessor call when the entrapment is free. Correct, guys? That's where we're going. Jules, technical judges will call the entrapment freed. Okay, good. Communication system between internal assessor and medical assessor. Guys, again, it's very tough because of vehicle positioning for especially medical assessors to hear everything inside the car. So we are miking our patient, our interior assessor, and our medical assessor will be mic'd. They can communicate with each other medical assessor can hear and talk, as can the interior assessor. Okay, so the question comes up. I'm doing a say and do everything. So don't just do it, say and do it. That way everybody can hear what you're doing. The interior assessor can hear it, the medical assessor can do it, and so forth. There will be a bystander. Oh, will there be a bystander scenario to help us? Meaning, hey, can I grab the police officer to come over? Or what does this say? Or an internal assessor can be outside the pit simulating a projection. What's this one, Mark? Can you to highlight on that one, that question?
Yeah, sure. So no, there will be no bystander in the scenarios. In the trauma challenge, there's a bystander to assist the two medical practitioners, but in extrication, there is no bystander to help in the scenario. And internal assessors can be outside the pit simulator. The internal assessors, the casualties, need to be identified by the team. They will not be outside the perimeter of the scenario.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. And then finally, the last question is there a limit to how many tools teams can bring to the event? Carlos, do you want to touch on this one? Because you had a great example. I mean, guys, we have a tool list. You can't exceed the tool list. But if we're talking personal tools, I guess, Carlos, can you expound on that?
Yes, this question was related with Eurobox that you previously asked me to say something. It's the same, but I remembered another thing, and let's take the chance to answer. Sometimes people like to have, for example, two reciprocating saws, and they want to take one to the scenario, knowing there's another, there's one in the pit already. So don't do that, okay? It's only one tool. The quantity of tools is the one in the tool list, okay? Don't take another tool in your pocket to use in the scenario. It's only one as mentioned in the tool list.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos. Thanks for clarifying. All right, let's move along. Okay, prop positioning and relocation. So let's get clear. Let's make sure we're clear on this. So prop positioning, relocation, props may be positioned in pits to represent field objects, road furniture, other vehicles on the road. Every effort will be made by the organizers and hosts to ensure the realism of these props. We're trying to make this as real to you guys. This means that if the object is intended to be fixed and immovable, it will be placed in the scenario in such a way that it is that as to make it immovable. A Jersey barrier wall and items identified with a red cross are considered to be fixed objects that cannot be moved. A Jersey barrier wall will not be moved. You will not be allowed to move a Jersey barrier wall. You guys understand? In reality, we're trying to make this real. In reality, Jersey barrier wall, those concrete walls go for miles. There's no way to break them that would affect your scenario. It's continuous. We can't put, a mile of Jersey barrier wall for our scenario. We have a set space to work within. Consider Jersey barrier walls immovable. And again, they will be marked in a red cross. Props identified with a green cross are sacrificial, can be, and may be cut at the identified area. So they will, whatever the prop is, use your imagination, will be painted green, 2 lines in an area. That's where you're allowed to cut. Props with a yellow cross can be moved or relocated. So if it has a yellow cross on it, we can move that prop or relocate it. If the host logistics manager is unable to create an equitable scenario, a simulated immovable object may be used. Guys, you know the logistics. You all have trained in your home. You know that sometimes you try to block a door because it came open, your scenario set up. You can't waste another 20 minutes of setting up because you want to do X amount of scenarios in the day. So you block it with something. The scenario may show a barrel. All we have is a rail. It will be substituted accordingly. If the host logistics managers, we already talked about, may also be used. Okay, additional vehicles may also be used as props to reflect other road users. So you may have more than one car in the scenario. If safe to do so, these prop vehicles may be moved using safe, appropriate techniques. We've already seen it. It's happened for the last couple of years. Teams are moving vehicles. If it's a vehicle that you can move and it's moved safely, we will allow it. No walls. Walls cannot be moved. Code of conduct. This is, so many of the countries. Guys, we're all from different countries. We're coming together to share knowledge, to educate ourselves, to take this knowledge back to where it really matters, to the streets of our community, the communities that we serve, right? Let's make sure that we act accordingly with each other. I have no problem when teams ask me to come work with them in preparation for a national challenge or a world challenge. I go there to teach them 100% of what the criteria says, not 80%, not 70. I want them to want it. But guys, in the end, I know that the challenge is important. And remember, I told you, I competed from 1991 through 2005, off and on, in 15 different events. Those were international events, world events, and regional events. I know what it's like to go there with a goal. And we understand that. You do your best and then accept the results, right? And if you guys, you're the best of the world. You're the best from the whole world. You're the best from your country and you're the best from around the world. Let's act like it. Teams, other departments from around the world are watching you. I'm watching you guys. I'm so impressed with what I'm seeing educationally, what you guys are sharing, something that our generation, Julius and myself, didn't have when we were young, was the availability of a social media, or even, the technology that I can send a video now and another team can watch and say, hey, learn from this. I understand we understand how competitive the nature is. Let's stay professional and let's set the example. Let's set the example from around the world. You guys, nobody's going to be a harder critic than you are on yourself, right? When you guys are training, nobody critiques you harder than your team does. The mentality should be, if we came up 30th next year, we're going to do better. We're going to end up in the top 10 or in the top 3 next year. But remember that it's tough to do, but what we're doing is for educational purposes. It's to provide people the chance to survive these accidents. So when you're there, I get it. Give 100%, and then it's done. Let's turn the page and let's do our next scenario, and so forth and so on. Okay? So this comes to the end of our presentation, and I asked you to look at this car early on. So you'll get to know, the guys have gotten to know me, the big four, big five guys, and they know I'm very passionate, as they are. They're way above me in all the skills, whether it's incident command, technical, and medical. These guys, as I told you earlier, our 4 leads, our assessors, are the best of the best. I can speak for our 4 leads that I've been working with for the last 7 months, and it's simply the best I've ever seen. And we're all bringing our knowledge and our way of doing it and saying, how do we meet each other somewhere in the middle? Why is this important to me? Why do I talk to you about what the importance of this education is? That's my sister. That's my 16-year-old sister's car. And June 19th of 1987, she was driving home and was T-boned by a SUV, a pickup truck pulling a trailer, pulling a bulldozer on a trailer. And when he T-boned my sister, because the guy driving didn't notice the light had switched, he was looking for something in his glove compartment, didn't know the light switch, and my sister goes through the intersection with a friend of hers who was in the driver's seat. I'm sorry, which was in the passenger seat. So she gets T-boned, and they estimated the impact was probably at about 55 miles an hour or higher. They didn't have a chance to put the brake on. So she was in the car 55 minutes. When we talked to Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, who is the one that responded to my sister's emergency, they gave us a rundown of all the things that were wrong with her months later when she was recovering. She was stuck in that car 55 minutes. They had to intubate her through the windshield. She was airlifted to our trauma center, where she spent the next 3 months recovering from depressed skull fracture. 6 months later, they had to go in and put a plate in her head. Fractured pelvis front and back. Both lungs collapsed on the operating table the night of the surgery on her brain. She fractured 2 ribs, both clavicles, and lost all the molars in her mouth. Because of all these things were internal injuries, when you look at her, you don't see all those scars. You don't see what happened to her. And what the fire rescue did, I wasn't a firefighter yet. That was a year before I became a firefighter. I saw how humble those guys were that did what they did for my sister. And I said, this is what I want to do for a career. This is what I want to do for a living. I was selling houses with my father at the time, and put myself through Fire Academy MT. And a year, almost to the date of my sister's accident, I got hired with Coral Gables Fire Department, spent 31 years there. 3 years after I got hired in 1991, we started on our journey in vehicle extrication. And I made the promise that I would always put education first. So when you see us doing the types of scenarios that we are presenting you guys with, they're what's happening now based on studies, case studies, research. When you see what we're asking you to do, knowing that it's a hazardous profession, it's because we want you to take this back, because that could be somebody else's loved one in your community that you have a chance to change their life for a positive. There's my sister 3 years ago. She's second from the right, I'm sorry. And we will forever be in debt to Fire Rescue, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. The greatest honor I think I ever had was in 2013 when Miami-Dade came to me in Coral Gables and said, Iggy, you and the others have been judges for years. Will you work with us? Our team was still competing, but sharing knowledge is sharing knowledge. And I really believe that that's what we're here for, guys, is to share knowledge with each other and save as many lives as we can save. So I ask you to put the kind of commitment and effort that we all know you have already done to get to this level. But let's remember the true reward of what we're doing is the knowledge we're gaining and bringing back to our communities, right? So I hope this journey will take us to that end, guys. I hope that we'll be able to learn from each other, have fellowship with each other. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys in Azores. We've got a great event planned for you guys, and these assessors have been working their butts off, as has Quality Assurance Group, as has the Big Five extrication leads, as has our host ANSD. They are doing everything they can to provide the best experience for you. And of course, I can't leave without thanking the WRO, the World Rescue Organization. I've been involved with them since 2000 as a competitor. And in 2001, I became an assessor for them. And I can tell you, they're on the right track. We just have a lot of people from different parts of the world bringing how we do things and trying to find a middle ground. So we hope that you guys will provide that input that we need. When this event is over, we want your feedback. Hey, you know, we really liked it, but what about if we did this? Suggestions, guys, so that next year we can correct the little things that you said, maybe we could correct it this way. Those suggestions come from you guys, the ones competing, okay? So I hope that you guys will take the time when we're done with our event, and any kind of evaluation that the WRO provides you, or through some type of written form and email form, that you guys do have input. And I found that the WRO, they're not upset when you come with a different way of doing it. They want this. They want us to challenge them. We can't just follow the lead because one group says. It's not the way US does it. It's not the way Portugal does it. It's not the way UKRO does it only. It's the way we all do, and we try to find a middle ground. So let's make this the 24th year, the 25th year, a springboard, because these challenges, these scenarios you guys are going to get, I'm telling you, I'm excited to watch what you guys are going to do, because it's like nothing we've ever done before. It's going to be very exciting and new. So I don't know if any of our 4 leads have anything they'd like to add. Carlos, Mark, or Julius, please.
Yeah, Iggy, I think I will start from my side. First of all, thank you very much. You've said a lot about the 5 of us, but behalf of the team, we will also want to say thank you to you. What a leadership. I think I'm not going to spend time to that. We will entertain you and spoil you when you're on the island to say more. Thank you very much. Your leadership is over exceeding, and we appreciate that. And thank you for that. But behalf of all the people that's involved, besides the teams, all the people that's behind the scenes who have made it possible, we want to salute you tonight. And that's every team tonight, every captain that's present tonight. And our attitude from the beginning is not just about ourselves and education and what we want to bring in our expertise, but is to learn from you as a team. We want to learn from you, and together is what we've always said in the 7-8 months: collective knowledge, collective attitude, collective, let's make a change like we've done from a day to day, go back. And congratulations to each and everybody. But we are really excited as a management team, as assessors. We are waiting for you guys really to be together as a team in this. And this is the approach. This is, that's all I want to say. And thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you, Jules. Thank you. Carlos, Mark?
Mark, please.
Sorry.
Come on, Hitman.
Yeah, sorry. I have to unmute myself. Thank you for the presentation. All I would say from the medical perspective, guys, you know, as Iggy has just indicated, the reason why everybody is doing this is because of the casualties. And from a medical perspective, you will see the detail that is now required in the score sheets and in the guidelines. And it's about patient care, it's about casualty care. The medics that are on the call tonight, you know, you're all part of a single team. The technical team is there to support the medics and to support the casualty, and the medic is there to give the information that is needed to the commander and to the technical team for them to implement what is needed for the patient. So guys, the only thing I would say to you is that between now and the time you go to the Azores, again, read your guidelines, read your score sheets, and we look forward to seeing excellent casualty care.
Thanks, Mark. And like the rest of the guys, man, you knocked it out of the park with our medical stuff on the extrication. Thank you. I know that you and Yves have been swamped over on the trauma side. So Mark, you're one of the 5 leads. We can't thank you enough for everything you've done for the extrication side, brother. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay, so Iggy, Julius,
Sir.
Mark and Paul. Paul is not here, but thank you for having me around you all this month, because I'm I'm a lot smarter now. I know a lot more about extrication that I knew in February when I was elected alongside with you. I just want to say to all the people in the room, and if you can take these words for the other guys that couldn't attend the meeting, we are humans, okay? We and you, we all try our best to to win the first prize, okay? Our first prize is to do an amazing World Rescue Challenge in Azores this year. This will be our first prize. We know you want to win the first prize in every category, in everywhere. Okay, we know. And let me remind you, sometimes you will fail in some details, in some things, in some scenarios. We, as organizers, we may fail in something. We are trying to think in everything to don't fail anywhere, but maybe we fail. Just give us a minute of of rest and don't point the finger in the first occasion you have. Okay, that's it. We are trying our best, and I'm sure with all the new things happening this year with the guidelines, the score sheets, the tool list. We had new equipment to the list, new scenarios, 8 different scenarios. I'm sure all of you will give your best, and I can't wait to see you there. Okay. So to finish, I will just show if Iggy, it's on you now. If you don't mind, I will finish after you finish. I will finish with the video again.
Okay. I need to acknowledge, guys. You know that the big five, the extrication leads, we're not board members, but we have to say that, and I'll say from my part, and I know the guys feel the same. We can't thank Ian Merritt enough. He's been having to wear 2 hats. Kevin Lennon, unfortunately, had to step down early this year, January, and Ian's been wearing 2 hats: education guys, development, and operations director. And Ian is the glue that keeps us together. I want to thank Ian. I want to thank Paul Jerome, our president, obviously, Nick Gahan. Who else am I missing here? Oh, most importantly, guys, for those of you who've been here long enough, you know Cameron Black is absolute WRO royalty. And I understand he's not going to be running for the re-election in that position. So I would advise you guys, because he is an absolute legend of the WRO. If you get a chance to take a picture with your team and Cameron, I know he would love it. And please send them to me through our WhatsApp chat so we can put a little something together for Cameron. But I just wanted to thank the whole Declan Cassidy, who's been working so hard, as well as Mick Gahan and Paul. But again, Ian, thank you very much. I know Ian recorded for us, but he's got so much going on right now. He's working timetables and weighted system and doing many, many things. Let us run with this meeting. And I just want to say again, thanks to Ian for all the support he's given me and the Big Five. And of course, my Big Five brothers, thank you so much for everything. QA and our assessors, thank you very much. Most importantly, to you guys, the teams, for making the commitment to come out here and show each other what you've got, and show off your skills and your knowledge, and put those on display. So thank you.
Muy bien.
We have feedback. What are they saying? I don't know. All right. If nobody has anything else, a quick.
Vale. Guay.
Okay. You're going to finish off with the video, Carlos?
Sí.
Guys, don't forget, any question. Oh, we did say,
Vale,
Carlos,
corazón,
are we
pues
going
nos
to
hermanos
answer
un poco.
question? We had a question earlier. if it was about our presentation only, guys, okay? If you have any questions regarding challenge, please forward that through our WhatsApp chat so everyone can see it, so we can discuss it and put an answer on it, and then everybody sees the answer, so we're all getting the information at the same time, okay? All right, Carlos, all yours. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Carlos. You got anything else for us, big guy?
I'm done.
All right. All right, guys. If that's it, then again, I encourage you guys to please send those questions to us, and we'll get back to you on an answer as a group. Okay, so everybody can see what the questions are that are being asked. If that's all we have, I want to thank all of you. Thank you very much, ANSD representatives on here. I see Sarah Lopez. Sarah, thank you very much for everything you're doing to get us right with the teams and the transport. You've been knocking it out of the park. A great job. Thank you. I know that all the teams have your information. So any questions, you guys, Sarah has been doing an amazing job with coordinating our teams and logistics regarding hotels and transport and stuff. So thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you making the call. And I think that's it. We pretty much run out of time here. We're at 3:06. Can't wait, guys. 9 more days, and we're gonna be on a beautiful island in a beautiful country, and hanging out with each other. So please stay safe, and see you in about 9 days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye bye.